Yeah, I think it was, and that combination can be strong. You also get a nice save and a snowball down the line, so that could be one way of using the Dawnbreaker early on. For Motivate.Trust with Mirana, you've got the Bane Mirana combination, you've got Mirana Mars, so Arrow Spear, even the Ember Spirit with the chains out can kind of set up for Mirana. You have a lot of good angles here for Motivate.Trust. It's going to be relatively easy for the Mirana to land some arrows. They don't have the best hold for the Storm Spirit though, but at least they have the grip from the Bane. So I think there's a lot of pressure on our Bane to just secure his position, ensure he can get the grip off to hold the Storm, because that's their best hold. Still, Execration take the Gyrocopter, so they're prioritizing their safe lane pick for a bot. And this is something we've seen a bot play tons of times before in various teams, and he does play to a really good fault. The issue is, for the most times you see Gyrocopter, it tends to be buffed up, right? Like in Boom's case, they always ran it with Io, or they'd have like Invoker. A lot of times we see something like the Ogre Magi with a Bloodlust for the Gyrocopter. None of those buffs on hand. So that does mean the Gyrocopter is not going to have really strong presence if you do go for the Flak build. You are open to go for the Rocket Barrage build, but I think most cores have been gravitating towards a 0-1-3 stats build. So let's see if that's something that a bot wants, or if he wants to be aggressive with magic damage here.
Okay. Well, Motivate. Final ban outs now. They are having a heavy think about this this 6th ban. I guess the Dawnbreaker is kind of confusing to where it's going right now. Maybe they're just scared of... Could there be an IO to come out? Maybe a POS 3 Dawnbreaker. You go for a support IO with the Gyrocopter. Could be a consideration for Execration.
I mean, IO and Dawnbreaker kind of work together. Like if you're
right,
if you got the IO and Gyrocopter together, tethered up, and you get the heal, you're healing for a ton because you're bouncing back the healing with the tether as well. So there could be value in that for Execration and flexing the Dawnbreaker offlane for Tino. We just haven't seen too much offlane Dawnbreaker, but I feel like on a core role, it's probably its best lane. So they could just go that route. I think that's actually the best way to do it. I like that read you had, Mike. I would be a really good fit because it gives you the buff for the Gyrocopter. It allows you to go for the Flat Cannon build. It will give you mobility to kind of run around and play aggressive and actually hunt down Jackie. So that could be the way to go. Just play hyper aggressive with the IO, win out your lane, go for the Flak build, go for the Crystallis early on as we see Palos do, and just hunt Jackie.
Well, now a lot of reserve time being used up for Execration's ban. Get rid of the Medusa. Darkseid being removed here from Motivate. Execration. What other POS 1 don't you want to see here? You've got the Ursula, you've got the Lifestealer, you've got the Terrorblade. You still got things like the Ricky, but I don't think it's quite a Ricky game here for Jackie. I mean, you probably won't assume they go down the Naga route against the Gyrocopter as well. I doubt Jackie will go into that Naga Siren a 2nd time in a row. I suppose you never know. It was quite a kind of confident victory there in Game 1, so maybe they feel confident enough to just run it back. Get rid of the Morphling. Which is a possible we don't get to see Jackie on very often, the Morphling. Can't say I've seen that many times at all from him. In fact, I can't remember the last time we saw it.
Yeah. It's been a while, I think, since he's picked that up, but I think it's just a safety ban to prevent the Gyrocopter morph. Because then he gets Flat Cannon, and you have to deal with that. It's not fun for the opposing team. So it's a sensible ban. Motivate.Trust. Raid King. I was actually going to point that out. Like, Jackie Raid King was there. This looks like a good game for it, because you don't... I mean, you have to deal with... Well, actually, it doesn't sound like a great game when you have to factor in Lion with Mana Drain. But once you get the Ag Shard, you don't really worry about that. You're a great frontline core. You can kind of play aggressive to match the early timings of Gyrocopter, and you can just run from there. I think you've got a lot of early presence here from Motivate.Trust. Really big strength cores that aren't being punished. Execration do close out with the Pangolier, so it is a support Dawnbreaker for BDZ. And the Pangolier should make that lane a bit tricky for the Raid King. Once you have a value point in the Swash and the Disarm, you're not going to be freely last hitting here for the Raid King. It is still a good lane to run though. Like Raid King plus Bane or Raid King plus Mirana can be really nice. I think overall, an improved draft from Execration, but they have to execute. They have to find Jackie, they have to prevent the Raid King from farming up, And if you can prevent Jackie from hitting his timings, you can kind of just take over from there. We've seen Motivate.Trust struggle when their pause 1, when their win condition doesn't get online, and I think that's what Execration should aim to do.
I'm a little bit concerned though, like Execration, you've seen Bob, he's been having a bit of a rough time in the mid lane. Feels like if his laning stage suffers here on the Storm, it's just not going to recover as fast as you'd like it to recover. I don't know, it's, you look at Motivate's draft, it just seems much more self-explanatory, and we just kind of saw it, right? Like you're just looking for Masteros and Fearless to make some space, supports do what supports do. It could be a tough game too here. We'll see. Motivate, we're looking very, very strong in game 1. Do you lean the same way though, John? Do you think Motivate came out with the stronger draft? Do you think Execration have the better draft here?
I like Motivates more. I'm with you on this one, Mike. I think the Wraith King's gonna have a decent time. You've got really early timings to hit with Mars and Ember Spirit. Comfort heroes as well for Masteros and Fearless. They know the ins and outs of these heroes. For Execration, they have to play very specifically aggressive. Like, they do have to jump forward, again, hunt Jackie down, all about that early aggression with the early spikes a Gyrocopter can hit, and that can be easier said than done. I'm not sure if they'll actually be able to spot out Jackie, as we've seen him be able to dodge out a lot of ganks before, and the onus is on Execration to actually play to their style instead of Motivate.Trust getting to just farm up.
Okay, we'll head into it. Game number 2, Motivate.Trust against Execration.
Prepare for
Can they make this one work? Apparently only 2 heroes this game for Jackie to harvest with the Arcana, so only the Gyrocopter and Dawnbreaker is required. Good to see.
Looking good.
I think one of the quest line for this Wraith King, Arcana, it's one of the better quest lines, right? Like everyone else is like, you got to get this much damage with this spell and this and that, but his is much more simple yet, you know, much more fun.
Oh, for sure. It even has a nice little map, and they could find a kill here, RR.
Oh, arrow. Oh, it's going to land. Didn't look like it should land, but it does. RR had nowhere to go, and that'll be first blood going right to the Wraith King. That's a perfect start for Motivate.Trust.
30 seconds to battle.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't ask for anything better. Jackie setting himself up for a good time. You also get their aggressive ward, which might be de-warded because they should figure out the information was on hand. And they'll play a bit greedy. They'll keep running.
Why the hell not? Another arrow would have landed.
Ooh.
Bob, he had to stop there for a second. Now the homing missile out onto Fearless. Trying to just break the gap. Nightmare dodges there anyway from set 0. Q though, he's taking a lot of damage and they'll be able to secure the kill. Nice little trade there from Execration. Motivate though should still be pretty satisfied with getting first blood onto their Wraith King. And speaking of, we may as well start with the bot lane where you will see Jackie on the Wraith King along with set 0 on the Bane. RR and Tino there going to be on the Lion and the Pangolier. It doesn't really feel like the kind of lane that's going to slow down Jackie here.
No. It's not really going to slow down the Wraith King. Like, you will be fairly tanky with a Pangolier going for the shield crash. You can be annoying with a Lucky Shot once that's leveled up. But the angles for aggression is pretty hard to pull off. Like, we already saw set 0 with a Nightmare Dodge early on. They can always do that to save Jackie. That'll give him just the allowance needed to kind of get out from that initial initiation and just keep farming up. I think for Jackie, this is a hero that he's very comfy with. He loves this Wraith King. We've seen him play this for the past year, just something they always go back to. And it's kind of the same story with a Naga. As long as you have a smooth time in the initial laning phase, once you have the skeletons up, you can just kind of play in jungle, flash farm, go for push, and just keep building up.
Yeah. It's over in the mid lane. Bob going to be there with Fearless. This last time around, it was a decently even matchup, but Fearless did end up taking over. I still do believe the Ember should have a semi-decent advantage here against the Storm Spirit. Bob is going to try and apply the aggression, but Fearless looks to be perfectly healthy right now. We'll see, but these two, they do tend to get quite aggressive, so I could imagine a solo pickoff occurring in this lane.
Yeah, it's a big possibility for both sides. Like, Bob hits level 3, he's got the Vortex Remnant combo with the Overlord Charge, so he can kind of just apply that pressure onto Fearless, but now Fearless is fairly hard to catch out, although he is going to get caught right now.
Yeah. Not for long, though. Fearless, he'll be okay. Top lane as well. Arrow did connect onto BDZ, and of course he's going to be there with the Bart. You've got Masaros and Q on the Mirana and the Mars. This lane, I suppose, could go either way. It's just hard to tell as they do throw out the homing missile now. Celestial Hammer there out with the Starbreaker. A lot of damage being dealt onto Masaros, and eventually they might have the damage, and they do. BDZ able to secure the kill, but now Q going to turn back around onto a Bart. Leap charges are there. He's going to leap the other way. A Bart, no, he's going to be all right. They can't quite finish the gyrocopter.
It's a solid combination from Execration. They have the stun set up to kind of play with the Starbreaker, and they can be aggressive. A Bot still holding on to his level 2, so he could opt for the Rocket Barrage if he really just wants to keep going for these kills. But it's still fairly open for the Gyrocopter in terms of skilling up. BDZ having a great time early on. Of course, you have to respect Motivate.Trust's lane. Despite that kill, once they hit level 3 themselves with level 2 Spear, with the arrow ready, that combination can also just make short work of a Gyrocopter if a bot's not careful.
Yeah, absolutely. Mid lane Bob still doing a great job staying equal with CS against Fearless. No one dropping quite yet in this mid lane, but both heroes getting very, very low. Looks like Bob has brought out a salve for himself, so we'll be able to kind of get a bit of a reset going, but won't get the full value as Fearless does slide a fist to cancel. In fact, Fearless brings his own salve out as well. Being very careful with each other here.
Yeah, region game very important for both sides, and also the rune game, right? Like, we've seen this throughout the entire time of the Pro Series 9, but 4-minute runes tends to be where the support starts moving mid to deny one rune away from the mid laner, and we'll see if that can come out here. You do have the advantage of having Mirana for Motivate.Trust, so it's a lot easier for Q to sneak out, but we're not seeing that movement yet. We are approaching the 4-minute mark. Looks like both mids will be able to get away with a water rune each, keeping the stability on mid. Not much diverging here as well in terms of CS, although Bob...
Oh, chains out, arrow gonna land. Great rotation in from Q. Bob, he's gonna try and buy himself a bit more time. Eventually, though, Fearless should be able to take it, but no, Q, he'll take it himself, not wanting to risk letting the kill get away. It's a very important rotation coming in here from Q on the Mirana.
Yep, they make it work. The timing was later than the 4-minute mark. You know, we expected Q to just walk in from top to deny the water rune, but it still pays off. You get a kill, you take away the water rune anyway, Fearless is topped up, and that kill will lead Fearless to an earlier level 6. A level advantage over the Storm means that he could just Remnant bottle TP, you could look for the Remnant bombing on the Storm Spirit, look for that kill, run from there. BDZ reading that movement though, snags away a bounty rune, so you don't lose everything here on Execration, but you are still happy with a trade on Motivate.Trust. The lanes looking quite good for both sides. Execration is outside of mid lane are kind of just evening out their side lanes. You're not lagging too far behind on your Gyrocopter, you're not lagging too far behind on your Pangolier. There is a slight disparity, but not enough to really have a big advantage yet for Motivate.Trust.
Alright. That spike count, he's going to be alright from set 0. All things being said and done, Bob, even with that death, is still farming very nicely here on the Storm. And he is set to be the playmaker for the team, so just needs to make sure he has himself a good game. Of course, you've got Tino that you can rely on as well, but he's having a pretty rough time on the Pango right now. Has not been a very easy bot lane, that's for sure. We'll return back into the laning phase. They've done really nothing to slow down Jackie. He's at 28 and 12, so not the best, but not the worst. Plenty of creeps coming towards him. In the meantime, mid lane, BDZ, playing around here with Q, but Q is going to be able to leap away from the Starbreaker. It was just a fight over the power runes, and eventually it does go the way of Bob anyway. So maybe with that double damage rune, we could see a bit of a rotation out from our Storm. Bob, he might wait for the level 7 mark before he gets moving.
Yeah, it's a bit low on mana as well for a long zip. So I think he's going to have to play it a little bit more conservatively. Still, RR.
About to die, but they haven't put the damage up. But in fact, set 0 now has gone too far. We're trying to brain sap Tino, but BDZ, with his 3rd kill of the game already on this Dawnbreaker, just gets another one. And in fact, all 3 kills at the moment are on BDZ.
It's a good start for the Dawnbreaker. And we'll see how much impact an early build-up on his hero will go with a pause 4. Doesn't have much items up yet, but is saving up. Has 900 in the bank, not even boots up. I think if you did have boots, you'd have a lot of an easier time running around here and contesting. Still, I think Motivate.Trust are having a good time. They have some really aggressive wards, watching the farming patterns of a bot, so they might be able to get the jump down later on, but they are lined up for mid.
No, bot, Jackie ends up going down. Bob, he makes the rotation over with that double damage we talked about earlier. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they do find BDZ on the Dawnbreaker, so you should be able to find this, but the Starbreaker, not going to be there in time. So Fearless does at least take the killing spree away from BDZ. But still, I mean, Bob rotating bot to get Jackie, I'd say that's a much more valuable pickup.
Yeah, it's a big kill, and that's exactly what Execration needs. We talked about it. You just slow down Jackie, it'll throw the tempo off for Motivate.Trust. They even managed to get the scan out on the top jungle, so a bot's going to be protected, just plays under his ward, and is going to be fine. So Motivate.Trust not off to as fast of a start. Execration holding out on their own, finding more kills for their side, and managing to kind of fix some issues from the early game last time. Still, they're lining up top for Masaros.
They are, Masaros. He's going to drop so much control available from Execration. A nice kill here for the Dire side. In the meantime, Set0 has rotated with Q. They've got the Nightmare Arrow combo, but with too many heroes around, they can't make the jump in for it. They're going to land onto BDZ in the NQ. He's going to come back in, but BDZ, he's a tanky target. So Fearless is going to try and intercept and help out. They will get one. Set0, though, is going to drop to Bob. And now the chase is on for Fearless. He'll juke out the homing missile. It should be okay, as Bob is getting a little bit too low on mana to try and chase down Fearless. Fearless, he'll leave him be as well.
Yeah, a lot of aggression coming out. Support trade in the end. It's not quite what Motivate.Trust wants to catch out, but it's still a kill going out for Fearless. Same thing for Execration, a kill coming out for Bob. So the mid laners are feeling happy. I like what Motivate.Trust is doing though. They're emphasizing mid, and they're going to jump RR.
Yeah, that they will. Arrow, though, not going to be there in time, but it may not matter, or maybe it will. He'll keep trying to run. Earn charge is taking him down. They'll get the final right click, but what's it going to cost Motivate? Set0 is going to drop, so a support for a support. Not too bad for either side. And of all people, PDZ, he'll take his 4th kill of the game now in the Dawnbreaker.
I think they wanted to hand that over to a bot, but the tick down from your Venom was there with how low our Bane was, so not quite being able to give it away to the target they'd want still. No.
It's going to be okay, Bob, but try to make a play onto Q. Continue jumping in. It's going to be a fair bit of damage, and Fearless is slowly rotating back over. Q, though, is going to go down. Fearless, he's quite low on mana himself. In fact, BDZ is going to rotate in with the Starbreaker, and now he's in big, big trouble. No remnants available to throw out. One more right click would do it, and they get him. Nightmare was there from Set0, but it was not enough to stop the earn charge from BDZ. Still Set0 seeing if he can get something here onto Bob, and it looks like they will trade. It's ultimately not too bad, as BDZ now needs a way out. He has accepted the fact that he's probably going to die. Jukes out a little bit, but the arrow is going to land, and eventually Masaros, he'll take the kill.
A lot of back and forth there. Execration still going to be happier with finding that initial Fearless kill. And they are starting to really apply that pressure here from the Dire side. This is giving some space out towards Jackie. I think for Motivate.Trust, this is probably what they want. Just have the pressure applied onto the mid lane instead. Free up the space for the Wraith King to keep farming up Jackie. Still top in CS. He's top in net worth. So all things considered, your Wraith King's having a good game here.
Certainly so. That's the one thing with Jackie, though. Like, you can rely on the man to just catch up no matter what. That being said, he has lost his first life. Bob is going to keep moving in. Jackie needs a way out of this global, rather Solar Guardian. Nice spear out, though. Masaros may have saved the day, but no, Bob will keep the chase up and eventually does get the kill on the Storm. Now, they might be able to go for more. Set0 being targeted on the Bane. He'll Nightmare himself up, but eventually should drop. Bob, how far do you want to dive for this? Spear is there. Masaros, he will be able to trade. BDZ, though, still going. Set0, he'll get a brain sap off. Still alive. Meanwhile, Tino, he does secure the Bane kill, but it costs him his own life. And now BDZ goes down. Masaros, the real winner in all this.
That's quite the back and forth. 4 for 2. Motivate.Trust coming out on top, but they did have to sacrifice Jackie. At the same time, they killed off the Storm. So I don't think you're going to be too upset. For Execration side, this is giving a bot space, so it's the exact opposite. You know, same situation with a different hero. A bot has a free lane top to farm up. Our Gyrocopter did go for the stats flak cannon build and is paying off. He's able to farm up, build up, get these early spikes, going for what looks to be the Maelstrom rush on our Gyrocopter. So looking for early damage, early presence here. And Motivate.Trust haven't really punished a bot. 104 hasn't died yet. And think for Execration, that's also what they want. So in a way, Execration are slightly ahead by killing off Jackie. They are smoked up here as well.
They are. Can they find with this? Set Zero, he's going to break the smoke. RR, not going to go after this. In fact, Set Zero, he's the one to get the Nightmare off. Into the arrow. In Execration, they did not like the side of that Bane. They will just back off and let their Lion die.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were smoked up and dropped a ward. So it was spotted out by the Obs because the tree was down, but they did have direct vision into that ramp. They did manage to make it work. Masero is still being surrounded here.
He is. The tanky Mars seems to have read the movement though and does back off at the right time. And of course now they are under vision.
Bottom tower is under attack.
In the meantime though, a bot, he'll just get started on that bottom tier 1 tower. Same thing happening at the top tier 1. Eventually.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Overall, a bot
Dire's
taking this
top
bottom
tower
tier
is
1
under
should be
attack.
able to start really escalating in terms of farming this Gyrocopter. They made him any stacks. He's got a couple. It's not too
Radiant's
bad.
bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah. He can build up really fast now. Maelstrom just about 90 gold
Dire's
off.
top tower
So the
is
damage
under
output
attack.
and farming pace of a bot will skyrocket. Masero is still in a weird position.
Uh-oh. Yeah, they make the zip in. They found him. He's still very tanky. Starbreaker going to connect, but he gets the arena off, and now the arrow. It lands onto Bob. Oh, that's not what you wanted. Maseros, what a nightmare dodge again from Set Zero into the Fiend's grip. They will get the Mars. What's it going to cost, though? It looks like a hell of a lot as a Bart now. Very low in HP. The Earth Spike is juked out by Fearless, and a Bart, eventually he will drop on the Gyrocopter. And they'll go for more. They'll leave him be. Onto the Lion. Q just trusting the earn damage was going to be enough. And he was correct, John. He got a Bart with that.
It works out for Motivate.Trust, and we were just talking about how great of a time a bot was having. The space he was getting top with clearing that bot tier 1. They get too aggressive on Execration, and Maseros, his bait play worked out. He was hiding in a really weird spot. Like, that was a very awkward angle, but he had faith in his team to back him up. They clean up, and they build up this 4K lead now for Motivate.Trust. They're lining up for the mid push, and this should go fairly fast. They don't have skeletons up on Jackie, but even just his damage alone at this point is significant.
Easy. Chains out. Arrow going to be there. Nice setup, but he is by the tier 2 tower. Q wants to keep going. Bob, he's copying a fair bit of damage. The max starfall from Q actually hurts Bob quite a lot. And so BDZ will still drop and Motivate. They're looking to take over that dire triangle. 15 minutes in, the stacks are still there. But he has not been able to clear them up. And Jackie, he'll say thank you very much. Those are my stacks now. Call down is committed. He'll get 2 small creeps. Tino, meanwhile, going to roll forward. Bob, he'll be there as well. On to Set Zero he goes, but look at the damage. He's getting very low already. He'll keep trying to fight this one out and does make it out. Meanwhile, Set Zero, though, he barely goes down. And in the meantime, a Bart has ended up dropping. So they lose the Gyrocopter and the Lion. In fact, make it another. BDZ's going to get speared to the T3 tower. They'll go back for the stacks, but meanwhile, Maseros still not out of danger yet, but Spear, it is going to land. There's no follow-up to it. Tino, he'll try to keep going on the Pango, but it's going to cost him his life. RR now going to jump in. Gets a finger off onto Fearless. I suppose it's worth his own life for that. But Jackie will happily take the life of the Lion. Now Bob, in we go again. Onto Q with the Vortex out. Does have enough, and Jackie, he'll stop the team fight. He'll just TP away. He's had enough of this.
Yep. No backup left. I thought he would just kind of stand there, take the fight. There's a double damage rune if he just ran down. Would have had a great time, but Bob's gonna find it. Still a good fight coming through for Motivate.Trust, but kind of evened out by Execration, finding that kill on Fearless. Not the biggest, because it did go onto the line, so I think you're still fairly happy for Motivate.Trust, as they did clear out the stacks, and they took away that farm from a bot. They killed off the Gyrocopter. That escalation we were talking about from Jar is not coming out yet. He's not too far behind. You know, a bot still has a lot of room to grow, and he is getting some space down. Bot, no vision here for Motivate.Trust. Gonna have some room to keep playing this game. But side of Motivate.Trust, I don't think they're gonna be resting to all too much. They have Blink.
Arena BDZ, he's been caught out. Arrow's gonna be there. Q, he'll take the kill. Can you go for Roshan off this? I mean, it doesn't feel like it. Instead, they're gonna go for a 4-man smoke up. They'll see Tino, but he'll blink right away after breaking the smoke on Masaros.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Still
attack.
sticking around in that mid lane, but Fearless is going to just rush forward. Does not get the chains off, though. In the meantime, top lane, Jackie, he's just going to get started on the T2 tower push. So you want to just try and take over that dire outpost and then go for the Roshan.
Dire's top
Bob?
tower is under attack.
He was spotted.
Radiant structures are
They
fortified.
know he's around somewhere. Keeps zipping into the tree line, but you look at set 0, he's waiting. Beans grip up. That'll be Bob's way of getting out of this awkward situation now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Tino, gonna get Nightmare up, set 0, won't really have the setup he was looking for. RR, he'll take the Nightmare off, they'll just try and share it, but now they've both been caught out. RR will drop Bob, he will Vortex back Q, and they will at least get themselves a Mirana. I believe set 0 was in range for that Fiend's Grip at the last moment, but he doesn't really want to dive the high ground, so we'll leave him be.
They still find a tier 2. They're going to take the outpost with the Desolator up on Jackie. Roshan's not going to take too long. So they could just dip into Rosh. The scan was used early on by Execration, and they don't have forward wards to scout out.
Radiant's bottom
They
tower
are still
is
getting
under
some space
attack.
out for a bot to keep farming up. BKB up next. He's going to be much more protected to the jump in from Motivate.Trust, but that just makes him the primary grip target. So even with a spell immunity, they're still going to have to watch the Bane's positioning here. And I think Motivate.Trust still has the tools on hand to deal with the Gyrocopter. 3k lead still standing for Motivate.Trust, as they might be eyeing top.
But they are. Fiend's Grip is there. They've got Bob. And they should have more than enough damage with Jackie around. And now I definitely think you consider Roshan. You can force a buyback out of the Storm. I mean, you've got the Deso anyway with there with Jackie. He's just having a bit of a dance around right now. Not too concerned about what's going on across the map. And it seems like they want to try and pressure the mid-tier 2 instead, but surely they go Roshan.
Yep. Nipping into Rosh, 20-minute rune coming up. Will it be a DD, Mike? What do you reckon?
Of course, Just. Every time. I mean, it's going to be after the Roche, but it's still just as good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No, it's a regen. How upsetting.
Dire's middle
It's been
tower is
patched.
under attack.
It's been patched, John.
Unfortunate. Still, the Roshan's going to go here for the side of Motivate.Trust. Again, no wards from Execration to watch this, as they're playing bot very far away, just trying to build up on the Gyro. So that is 2 lives on Fearless, more than likely. And it's going to be a bit tough to lock in that Ember. Jackie, of course, has 2 lives as well. He does not have the Yag Shard, so you can still kind of burn him down with Lion. But that is a level 1 mana drain. So RR doesn't have much of a suck rate, which means that more than likely you will still have mana there on Jackie to revive. It makes it a bit difficult to kind of take that second life away from Jackie. Still, Smoke, Motivate.Trust on the hunt.
It's a very interesting way of wording it, John. Suck rate. Spear is out. They've got the Pengo. They've got Tino down. Homing missile, not going to help. Jackie doesn't have to blink up, otherwise he might go for another. Ball down will also come out here from our Gyrocopter to just try and get this creep wave away. The bot lane, Nightmare set 0. It's going to set up onto BDZ. Q and Masaros both gonna rotate over to try and get this kill. Eventually they'll get him. No problem. They'll just drop the arena, clear the tree line, and they'll just get the job done.
Nice, easy pick off there for Motivate.Trust. Execration not going to have that global presence for a bit. It's not too long for respawn. I don't think there's much openings for Motivate.Trust to get anything too aggressive here, but they will smoke again. Just keeping that aggression up. They've got the good wards. They know where some of these heroes are. They see RR top.
Is under attack.
And if they do, be a nice easy line kill. Not quite exactly what they'd like, but you just take what you get. Age is still up, obviously, so you wonder at what point they try to make use of it. I suppose for now, just finding pickoffs is good enough. Just continuing to extend the net worth lead. Well, I must say, Abat's still doing a great job of farming, but still 3.5k behind the Wraith King, so they're not out of the woods yet.
You know, there's a big spike coming out, Mike. Set 0, Ags up. So that's Brown Boots, Wand, Ags. With just the Keen Optic. He still has the Keen Optic, you know? It's like he has that added cast range anyway.
Oh,
so why not just rush the Ag?
Yeah. You get a Keen Optic, you hold it the whole game. It doesn't matter. You're playing Bane. Lion, oh, he's gone again, RR. He just respawned up. And now with that Axe up, you've got such a low cooldown Beans grip that it's going to be very fun times for Set 0 to set up for his team. And Bob will probably have to be very, very cautious with the way he zips in. 65-second cooldown right now, 55 at max level.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Very painful times coming for Execration. Luckily for them though, the bot tier, rather the mid tier 2 and bot tier 2 still stand.
Yeah, they still have some map to play with. Motivate.Trust has not been focusing on objectives. They've been running around for the kills. Maybe they're hoping Jackie gets the kills he needs for his Arcana, who knows. He's going to have his own BKB up relatively soon here. 200 gold away. So the Raid King with Spell Mute, he's going to be even harder to manage as they will gun for mid. And they do have good wave clear on side of Execration. They're actually in a roll for this.
Yeah, indeed. Set 0, not quite. Oh, he did commit the feed script. Where did it go on? Oh, it was the Lotus Orb. He tried to grab the Pango, but the Lotus Orb, nevertheless, the Arena is down. Masros trying to stop the fight, but Jackie is going to end up dropping. They've got one great pickoff already, and they'll even find Masros. Fearless, he will get BDZ, but he's dropping very low now. Try to escape the grasp of Bob. Won't be able to do it, but he's got the Aegis up. Meanwhile, BDZ, he does commit the buyback back in onto the Bane Set 0. He'll go down. Fearless, dukes out the stun. Still in massive trouble though as Bob. He's going to be able to pull him back with the Vortex. Eventually, they might be able to secure this kill as they do. Fearless will go down and well, Motivate.Trust dropping the ball on that one. Execration able to push them back.
Yeah, big win for Execration. That's going to open up a bit of a shove on the mid-tier 1. Q can't really do much to stop it. He does cut off the creep wave though. That might just be enough to stall. Respawns are coming out in Raid King. They will just immediately TP. So no objectives to be taken by Execration, which is a bit of a downside. They had such a great fight. They can't make use of it to even out the map. Still, you're going to be feeling good. They managed to close out the net worth gap between Jackie and Abat down to just about 1k. Gyrocopter going to hit the Ags next. Once you've got that Ags up, it feels a lot better for the hero. You have a lot of stats on hand, very durable. You just kind of gun for either more damage or durability with either the Crystallis, Daedalus, or the Satanic next. And that's where kind of hands in balance. Still, BKB up for Jackie. I think if he had the BKB in the last fight, it would have been a lot better, but they weren't patient on Motivate.Trust. They were confident that they'd live through, and they just couldn't.
Jackie, again being caught out. He hasn't got Reincarnate, so he's going to be forced to pop his BKB. Execration certainly feeling it now, trying to get that aggression going. Still, of course, just buying more time for Abat to finish off the Aghanim Scepter. He has done a great job of closing the gap between himself and Jackie, but there is going to be a 5-man smoke now from Motivate. Back into that dire triangle, I'm sure. Should know the Gyrocopter's there somewhere, but Execration, they'll back off at the exact right moment, realizing something is wrong. Bob. He's going to be alright. They don't have the vision behind that tier 2. It seems like Motivate just desperately want to try and take down this mid-tier 2 tower. Fearless will frontline for the team. He'll just get started. Ags up now though, RR gonna move in with the Hex out onto the Ember. There is your Solar Guardian coming in. They've lost the line. Still can they find something for their trouble? The Fiend's Grip just going all the way on Bob. It won't be enough yet. Bud meanwhile just chasing down the Ember. Fearless, he'll have the back for a bit. Back onto BDZ. They do get the Dawnbreaker down. And now they'll find a Bud. Gyrocopter down without buyback. He just bought the Aghanim Scepter.
That is massive and really unfortunate for Execration. They lost the Dawnbreaker as the arrow was coming in, so she couldn't tank that, and because that opened up that kill into the gyro.
My goodness, Jackie just blows up RR. Tino, he's going to be okay to roll out. But that tier 3 tower, it doesn't have that luxury. So it should be at least a tier 3, though. Well, they do glyph it up, and that may be enough to force them back, but it doesn't seem that way. They'll glyph their own creeps, they'll just keep going.
They've got max level Reincarnate up on Jackie, so he's more willing to put his body forward. Because the Ag's Fiend Script can be up in a few seconds as well.
Tino, roll up, going to allow him to get out. And indeed, since Set Zero does have the Fiend Script now up and available once again. Taking down Tino. Fine with the Lotus Orb. There's your mid-racks. At least you get the reincarnation though, but Masteros, he's going to make him pay for it. That'll be one gone. Fiend Script there,
boy.
Bob, he will be a second. Just a little bit too desperate on that play. It's certainly not worth the reincarnation. In fact, look at this. Jackie, he's just going back in. It's 5v3. Why the hell not? He wants more. He wants to go after a butt. Won't quite be able to get him though. In fact, Bob's going to pipe back. Sit back in. Fingers there. Nightmare Dodge is out, but it's not enough. Jackie, he's going to pay his Masteros. Pops his own BKB, but the damage is there from a Bard. On for more they go. Hugh, he'll be fine as Fearless jumps back in. 2 chains out. He might have Bob here. Bob, he just bought back. And a Bard does not have buyback gold available. It'll be a full team wipe to come out. And Jackie will give the tip over to the Storm Spirit.
Oh, Motivate.Trust, they managed to make that work. It's always a double-edged sword when you pop BKB against a Bane. And we've seen this in different series as well, where you come in, you're BKB'd up, the Fiend Grip comes on, and suddenly your Dispel to save you from that can't land on you because you're spelling you. So you can't actually use the Lotus Orb, you can't use the press the attack in that game we saw. And Setsuro just makes it work. Forces the immediate buyback on Bob. He gets caught out again. The punishment is there. Execration still find a good Jackie kill, which kind of feels good. And Motivate can't really push for more while their big core is down. So they're not in danger yet, Execration, but the respawns are coming up soon.
They are. Roll in. They've at least got the Mirana. BDZ. Pop the Solar Guardian. They'll get Q down. Be about it. Execration just gonna have to kind of bide their time, and well, they're 15k behind. Oh boy, Masteros. Oh, they love going after this Lion. RR. He just cannot survive once they get that initiation off. So a support for a support trade, and Tino keeps going down bot. This could be problematic because Set-Zero's waiting. He knew he'd get greedy, and guess what, John? He's got the Fiend's Grip up. Although Lotus Orb is going to be there in time. He was a bit too late on it. So Tino's going to be able to get away.
Managing to hang back, stay safe, TP in a few seconds. Miss out and kill, but Roshan's open. Jax is going to be taken. 3 Ag Shards coming through here as well. No contestation coming out from Execration. 2 lives in Fearless, free Ag Shard on him. The fire is flying around. It's going to be a lot better for our Ember, especially as the kills rack up. We'll see. Bob?
Yeah, Bob. Fearless. He's not close enough for the chains. It might be a bit of a hard one to land, and he does miss it. But Bob, still waiting, as his team is making their way over to try and help out.
Shadows take us.
Bounty.
It'll be fine. They do smoke, though. But they're nowhere near an enemy right now. It's a bit of a rough scenario here, Execration. They're going to get nothing out of that.
Yeah, Motivate.Trust read that. Like, the moment they knew they didn't catch Storm, they knew backup was coming in to just bail out, go to a different part of the map, farm up, Execration do still have control of their jungle, so they're farming up. They find a Psychic Headband. Wonder if Motivate.Trust will get lucky with their own Psychic Headband here. But looks like not yet. They have one neutral item left. Setsuro would love that headband here.
As we all do, John. And it's only 25 more cast range, but you know, as a Bane player, you take everything you can get, John. Spare no cast range.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Last sniper tower gone. We've got the Dagon's up on Q. Level 3. You can burst someone down as well. He gets to have fun.
Very nice. Masaros looking to maybe spear a Bard back. Pings were there. In the meantime, top lane, BTS been caught out. Fearless. Well, just go for the TP. Fearless can't actually stop this. Of course, he can join his team pretty much at any moment. Just can Remnant back. Motivate.Trust. They're not going to try and force it. It's still a 5v5. It's still going high ground. Got to be a little bit careful. They don't want to throw this game away.
Playing conservatively, playing it safe. They know they've got the lead, but the moment it turns around, the Gyrocopter can get really big. And of course, you've got spikes on your Storm. Ag's timing down the line could be massive with that additional control. So just playing it safe, not willing to allow a swing towards Execration. Just choking out the map. Execration stuck in the high ground, can't really dip outside of their base. Lots of good ward coverage here from Motivate.Trust to watch anyone that steps out of high ground as well. So the moment someone goes in to farm, they can easily punish.
Oh, Jackie's moving in. Has he found a target? He'll go for the homing missile. Abart is going to turn around now. Maybe that reincarnation's gone, but the Fiend's Grip has caught out Tino and Masaros. He does get the Gyrocopter. The heal's not going to be enough from the Solar Guardian. They'll buy back on Tino. They'll keep trying, but they've already lost the Bart. He has buyback this time, though. They might be able to keep this fight up. They've got Fearless, but where's your damage? Fearless, he's still healthy, but stunned up for such a long time. He's fine. Remnant away is there. Tino still trying to move in. He just bought back. Arrow's going to be there from Q. They might have enough, and they do. Now you definitely want to... Oh, Fearless! He'll go down. It'll just be the Aegis. I suppose it's a free reset. He catches a Bart.
Oh boy.
Yeah. A Bart has no buyback. He just committed. That's GG.
Ah, man. Motivate.Trust. Just feeling it today. Execration. You know, it was fairly close in game 1. There was a lot of back and forth. Game 2, it just felt like Motivate.Trust was in the driver's seat. And Execration, they tried to make this Dawnbreaker work once more. There was no counter to it. No Global Silence. No Spike Carapace. Didn't matter for Motivate.Trust. They still play their game. They play aggressive. Jackie did get a little bit more pressure in this game. You know, he wasn't able to free farm as much. He was ganked a couple of times. But he still got the space in the end. He built up. He hit this timing with the Desolator and the Armlet, and he was just very active from there on. And I think for Execration, they had the right idea. But they needed to commit towards Jackie a lot more often, catch out the Raid King, and they needed to control Roshan. They did not have vision in that area for a lot of that game, and just giving away that second life on another hero meant that you had to take care of, like, basically, 7 heroes, if you count all those slides as separate heroes. So they didn't have enough to sustain through that kind of exchange, and Motivate.Trust makes it work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. With that, John, we do have a 15-minute break before we do get into our final series. It is going to be NGX against Omega Esports, so a pretty fun matchup to finish us off. And like I said, 15 minutes, we'll be right back to see how this final series does pan out.